Is stretching part of your everyday? It should be, and here's why. Stretching increases blood flow and can be re-energizing. Stretching promotes mobility and range of motion, which is important in preventing injury during exercise and in everyday life, especially as you age. Stretching improves posture, it helps reduce stress, and it leads to muscular relaxation. It can even relieve post-exercise aches and pains. There are lots of reasons to stretch and many different ways to stretch. We're going to briefly talk about 3. First, one can stretch to improve muscle imbalances and to reduce pain. Second, one might need to stretch just to reset and wake up the body. And third, for flexibility. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about improving muscle imbalances to help with pain relief. Now, to set the stage, I want you to imagine all of the different positions that we as humans fall into throughout the day. Even with the best intentions of being perfect in our posture or ergonomically aware, it's hard to maintain that perfect posture. And we find ourselves slouching, slumping, looking at our phone, and falling out of what is ideal. The ideal position should be to maintain a straight line from your earlobe down to your hips if you are sitting, or from your earlobes down to your ankles if you're standing. But I know that isn't going to happen. And so, by slouching, slumping, tilting constantly or for long periods of time, we place strain on some of our muscles, and then we create this sort of tug of war between having muscles that are tight, muscles that are lax, and vice versa. So the goal of stretching is to rebalance and undo all of that strain while re-engaging the more lax and stretched sides. So let's take the example of a common slouch. Ideally, remember, we should be straight from earlobe down to hip. When we slouch, what happens is we start to round in our shoulders, we start to droop in our head, drop our chin, and we create this unnatural curvature in our back, which places, again, stress on our neck. Now, again, proper stretching is supposed to undo all of that. And so we want to focus on things like chin retractions. Okay, this is going to look really funny unless I turn to the side. Just simply pulling your chin back. We want to focus on head tilts, shoulder rolls, chest openers, grabbing your hands behind and lifting, or seated cat and cows, where you round and then accentuate the arch, lifting and pulling. Okay, so whenever you have these muscle imbalances, you really just want to think of undoing all the damage that you've already done. This is probably the most helpful principle when it comes to stretching, because most of us fall into this trap of icky pains after a long day. And chances are that you're just a little bit imbalanced and you need a little stretching TLC. Our second way and reason to stretch is to wake up and re-energize our body. Now, in this regard, you need to think about 2 things to be reinvigorated. First, you need to think about moving what has been stagnant. And second, you need to think about connecting your breath to that movement. Now, long, deep breaths, both in and out, are going to help the oxygen get to the bloodstream and into the joints. And stretching through that exhale especially encourages a deeper stretch for more range of motion. My favorite example that we can easily do together is just taking an overhead stretch. So you're going to inhale as you lift those arms overhead. How many of you actually do this while you're at your desk? Lift. And I want you to exhale as you lean to the side right here. Good. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And inhale on the way up. Take another deep breath in and repeat on the other side. Clasp those hands, pull away from your body, and really engage through that rib cage right there. Feel your breath going deep into all of those muscles, your joints, and so forth. And I want you to do more than what we just did. But that is an easy example, taking that breath and connecting it to the movement as you stretch. Lastly, let's talk about flexibility, because I know that always comes to mind when stretching is mentioned. But before we get into actually how to stretch for flexibility, you need to understand just a little bit of kinesiology. Now, our bodies are amazing. We come built in with this safety feature so that we don't overstretch, because that can be dangerous, right? We have what's called the Golgi tendon organ. And basically, the Golgi tendon organ senses change in muscle tension, and it activates this inhibitory reflex, or the feeling of tightness when you stretch, to protect you, right? Now, to become more flexible, you actually have to overcome that reflex, which is exactly what I'm going to teach you to do through this technique called proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. You can call it PNF so it doesn't sound so intimidating, and I promise we'll break it down so that it's doable. Now, this technique works really well in partners or with someone helping you, but you can do it on your own as well. And we're going to demonstrate with a tricep stretch. So the basic tricep stretch would be here, right? And this would be a really fun exercise if you did a pre-stretch to see where you are, and then post-stretch after this PNF to compare how much farther your fingers overlap or how much closer your fingertips get to see how you improved. All right, so PNF, okay? It's as simple as this. Counter pressure for 4 seconds, stretch for 10, repeat 3 times. Okay, now let's do it together. So in this tricep stretch, counter pressure means that I'm going to fight the muscle that I'm stretching. So I am going to pull with my hand as I push with my elbow. So do it with me. We're going to hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then stretch for 10, 9, 8, 7. Make sure you're breathing. 2, 1, and counter pressure again from where you are. Push and pull for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax into that stretch for 10. Okay, now I'm not going to totally count the whole time. I do want you to take this at your own breathing pace and counting pace. Don't rush it. Let's do it a third time. For 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, and drop into that even deeper anymore. Can you see how much we're improving already? You can't hardly see my arm back there anymore. All right, again, so exhale on that deep stretch part, and when you're holding, gently come out of it, and that's the same method that I want you to take not only with triceps, you can do it with hamstrings. It works awesome with stretching your back. So any muscle group you really want to stretch, try this PNF method and let me know what you think. There you have it. 3 different ways to stretch with 3 different results. At the end of the day, we hope that you just make stretching a part of your daily life, however you go about it. And as always, make sure you reach out to a Zemi coach if you need more help or want personal guidance. Until next time, the team at Zemi wishes you well.